Parsha Acharei Mos. Parsha begins after the deaths of Nadav and Avihu. Now, earlier in this Chumash, in Parshas Shmini, the third Aliyah, Nadav and Avihu, the two elder sons of Aaron, they entered the Holy of Holies, the Kodesh HaKadoshim, and they offered strange fire. And as the Pasukim indicate, they came close to God and died. Why? Various reasons are given. They entered the Holy of Holies when only the Kohen Gadol can enter the Holy of Holies. They were intoxicated. They offered incense that they were not commanded to offer. They were a bit arrogant. This is what we are told. They said to each other, "Our father's brother is like the king, Moshe. Our father himself is the Kohen Gadol. We are deputy Kohanim. What woman is capable to rise up to the quality of who we are?" They continued to wait. They never got married. They didn't have children. The Kohen Gadol is a married man, has children. For these and other reasons, they were taken. Nonetheless, in the very next pasuk, Moshe says to Aaron, God told me that he would be sanctified. And I thought for sure it would be either me or you that would be sanctified, that one of us would die sanctifying God's name. Now, when I see that it was your two sons, Nadav and Avihu, I realize that they were even greater than you and I. Huh? Nadav and Avihu greater than Moshe? Than Aaron? How could Moshe say such a thing? Moshe doesn't lie. Even little white lies. Moshe was a man of truth, a real straight shooter. So, what does the Torah mean when it says that Moshe told Aaron that his two sons were even greater than he or Aaron? It's a perplexing question. Seems like something's missing here. So we look a little deeper with the help of the Rebbe, and we see that these two men, Nadav and Avihu, they drew close to God. So it says, they drew close to God. Vayakrivu, they came close. It says they brought incense, but we learned that this means that they came close to God. So close, in fact, that a fire came down and consumed them. The fire of love for God that was burning in their hearts. That fire, just as a little flame jumps into a big flame, so too the flame of love that these two men had in their hearts, it became consumed by the overarching love that God has for the Jewish people, and they were consumed. Sounds great. Almost. But they died. Is that what God wants from us? Let's think about that. You know, in the world there are two words which come one close to the other when we speak about God. One is ruchnius, spirituality, and the other is religion, a path to God, a path that God sets for a person to follow. The religion and the spirituality. These two words are very close to each other, and quite often you'll find that there is someone who practices his religion. Is a very spiritual person. And there are many people who are spiritual, who their whole life is given over to the Spirit. Some people call these people mystics. They look for the mystical experience, the experience that lets them know that there is something else besides this physical world. And many people who are spiritual, they seek the spiritual experience. And thus, we begin to see what was going on with Nadav and Avihu. They were consumed with a love for God, a love for the mystical experience. They wanted nothing more than to be able to experience the mystical union with God. This was the very inner meaning that was in the heart of Nadav and Avihu. They sought God. They sought the experience of God. But they made a mistake. They erred greatly. Because where is God to be found? Not above, in a state of mystical union, above the world, above the experience of the world. No. The mystical union is to be found here, in this world, conducting oneself in a proper way, a way which has been laid out for us, a way that allows us to live in the world, all the while connected to God, because here is where God wants his home. God created this world, came down from his highest place, from the very loftiest levels of ruchnius, from the very highest levels of spirituality. God came down further and further to create a physical world, and in this world to place you and I. And in this world where you and I exist, we need to create a temple for him to call his home. In the Torah, God commands the Jewish people, build me a temple, a physical temple. And so we did. A physical Mishkan in the desert and a temple in Yerushalayim. But this temple, this physical house that was built by the Jewish people for God, allows God to come into the heart of each and every one of us. Make for me a temple, v'shachanti besocham, I shall dwell within you. Each one of us is to make ourselves a temple, make ourselves a place where God can feel at home. If we are constantly looking up to receive from God, we miss the whole point of our creation. We are not here in order to receive from God, but we are here to become totally consumed by God's will, to give ourselves over to his will, in order that God can work himself, work his miracles through us, his miracles of compassion, his miracles of love, his miracles of how a human being is to conduct himself or herself in this world. And that's what Nadav and Avihu missed. They missed the point. Spirituality is not the goal of life. Godliness is the goal. We don't reach up for godliness, but rather we empty ourselves in order that God can work through us to be a godly human being in the world, so that when others look upon us, they think of God, not of us. They think of the Holy One, who works His holiness through the way that we conduct ourselves. And that's what our religion is. A path that we can look to see how we are to conduct ourselves from the beginning of the day until the end of the day. Torah and mitzvahs give us that path that as one conducts himself or herself according to our religion, we are able to live a life which gives rather than takes. And then, not as Nadav and Avihu, but as Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron gave themselves over to give to the Jewish people, and the Jewish people to the rest of the world, to teach the world how a man and a woman is to conduct themselves in life. God bless, and may God bless the Jewish people, and through the Jewish people, the entire world.